Absolutely beautiful video. Carrie picked them for today. Welcome everyone to our Sunday gathering. It's number 138. Yes, 138 weeks ago, my friends and I got together and we launched our first Sunday gathering, looking for a way to give back in a tough time. And the Sunday gathering began, and I don't think it will ever end. I think we're in this for life and the afterlife. If we haven't met yet, I'm Sandra Champlain. I'm here with my friends Carrie McLeod and Philip Dykes. Our friend Darren is spending another day homesick with a terrible cough. So you got the terrific three amigos today. So what I'd like to do is pass it over to Carrie, who's designed our Sunday gathering, and have her let you know a little how it's going to go, and we will continue on. Over to you, Carrie.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on this notable day. The music has been chosen to honour everybody who is currently, who has, and who might in the future serve their country in our armed forces, our emergency services. We wish to honour everybody who gives their life so that we can have the freedom that we enjoy. Today is about honouring those that choose that life of service and who, in the poem that we may hear later on, that we do not forget, what they gave. So today we have, instead of a reading, we have a small video that I'd like to share with you. I'm going to do the opening prayer and we're going to move into the reading and the healing. Sandra is going to start our address and Phil and I will follow after that. And then Phil and I will deliver some mediumship before drawing our service to a conclusion. All the way through today's gathering, allow yourself to stay within that moment where you remember those who you have within your family and your friends who have served their country, who did it willingly so that we can have the freedoms that we've had. If you do not know anybody within your family or friends, send your gratitude out. That's today's theme, gratitude and remembering. So as we move into the service, allow me to open it for you in prayer. Divine and ever-present Spirit, at these times we remember those people who have gone to the spirit world, those people that serve their country, their honour and our future, those people who did what they felt was necessary in order to honour all that they believed in. Those that walk within the spirit world can see the difference that they have made for our world that we live in today. There are those out there serving this world so that our children can have a world which they can be proud of tomorrow. But in this moment, we wish to send our thanks, our gratitude, our love, and our hope for a better tomorrow to everybody around about the world who in this moment are honouring their own heroes, heroes that are moving, working and serving those that matter to them. So allow us to have that hope within our heart and move within this love, this honour towards an everlasting peace. Amen. So we're going to move into the reading and I'm going to pass to Sandra and she's going to play a video that I picked out for it.
Oh, that video gets me right here. Anybody else with tears in your eyes? Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I don't think there's a single one of us today that doesn't have someone that tied in with us that's been part of the service. And however you have served and remembering those who have served, just a definite thank you. And with today, and in America, we just had our Veterans Day on Friday. I know there's some sore hearts. I do. We're going into our healing segment now. And I'm just thinking there's sore hearts for remembrance, for people that we've loved and lost, although they're not really gone. And that's one of the reasons we have our Sunday gathering. So you know they're still with us. But we have the potential of sending so much healing to people and places in the world that it's needed. So I'm going to ask everyone for this next song that's going to be played. I did a little Sandra magic, put a few videos from our friends in the service and in the UK and Canada and America. It's only countries I could get to doing it last night. But enjoy the song, Send Your Loving Thoughts to Those in Need. Sometimes we don't know how to send healing. How does it work? How does prayer work? Well, I really don't know, but I do know when there is love in our heart and that there's that wish of kindness and being of service to somewhere else. If you could imagine the little pixie dust that goes to wherever it's needed. A good way to send healing is to picture people in your life and around the world as being healthy, whole, perfect right now, as they are, perfect. No pain, no suffering, healed from whatever ailments they have. So in whichever way you wish to be of service right now, or if you just want to quiet your mind and be present to the words of the song, that simple prayer, let me be of service right now to humanity, that works. So here's our healing song. Only 2 words to be said. Thank you. Oh, that choked me up, that song. Beautiful video. You know, I take life for granted. I don't know if you guys do sometimes. We don't really know how good we've got it. And I was thinking about our veterans and those that have passed on and those people that no longer serve. And it never even dawned on me, without the armed forces, I wouldn't be here today. Did you know my young mother was in the Air Force and my young father was also in the Air Force? She was a flight attendant for those big aircrafts. They no longer have flight attendants in the Air Force, but she was one. And then my dad was a fighter pilot. And lo and behold, they met. And, years later, here I am. My mom loved the service and could imagine a life not being part of it. And unfortunately, she got a phone call that her mom had been hit by a drunk driver while driving a car and was taken out of this life. My mom had a very young brother and came home to Minnesota to be with her dad and raise her younger brother. These things, I look at my mom today and I'm so blessed that she's in my life and she's a daily part of my life. But it's so easy to just take for granted who she is currently, and forget about the past, the hopes, the dreams. I'm a big fan of watching some old movies. And there's a miniseries called John Adams about the birth of our country in America. And I was watching it not too long ago, and I was thinking of how people lived their life. Now, they had no air conditioning. They had no cars. They had no dentists, really, except for yanking out a tooth. They didn't have the modern day luxuries that we have today. They sacrificed so much with a much younger lifespan, shorter lifespan. And I know I've been through grief, and I know I've been through some tough times and some scary times, but no time like putting my life on the line for the birth of a country or for others. And the pain and the struggle that so many people have had to deal with, that is not anything that I know. So the song, Thank You, I think is so important, because I know in my life, when things go wrong, it's like, oh, the internet doesn't work. I can't get on Zoom, right? Or whatever it may be. They're just, as my dad would say, small potatoes, little things. Our human beings, there's a term for it, which I don't know what it is, but what humans do is we take things that are very special, and we turn them into no big deal. It's not like we choose to do this, it's just part of our human machinery. If you think of any special time in your life, whether it's a birth of a child or when you met your significant other, you know, all that magic that happens, all those good feelings and butterflies in your belly, or if you go on a lovely vacation and you witness the most beautiful sunrise or sunset. Maybe some people graduate from college or whatever that is. You know, our minds make these great things as, you know, no big deal. And so I think for my part of the address is to recognize what a big deal we're living in, what a big deal people who have served for our countries in order to have the lives we live now. It's a big deal. Carrie's picked a beautiful video for the end of the Sunday gathering today, and it really touched my heart as to remembering who people are and that they are a big deal, those that still have survived. I know there is a very high suicide rate amongst veterans, and it's heartbreaking, you know, and I always thought it was because they must have witnessed something being in the service and witnessed some really traumatic things. And while that is true, I met a member of the armed forces who was a veteran, very, very much part of working with his Veterans Association. And he says, how people are treated being in the services, there is a way people are respected. There's an order to things. Even my mom talking about remembering when she was in basic training, and she says, you know, everything had to be just so. And it was a special life where people were really respected and treated well. And it was hard work, of course, but there's a family to it. Plus, if they're in combat or whatever work they do within it. And when that's done and over, grief can kick in. You no longer have the life that you have. I know in our country, there's a lot of companies that will offer great benefits and jobs to our veterans. But I also know, and this is probably true at other places of the world, there are a lot of homeless veterans. There are a lot of shelters, and people have forgotten. So my request is a thank you. And it's looking at life as it's a big deal. Even whatever you have in front of you, whether it's an iPad, iPhone, computer, however you've dialed into our Sunday gathering, our brains here in 2022, it's just like, oh yeah, I just have an iPhone, but I don't have the most current one, right? But oh my God, isn't it miraculous that we can tune into just about everything in the universe in one of these? I mean, it's huge. Imagine 100 years ago telling people that this is what's coming. I mean, they wouldn't even believe it. I mean, it was a big thing when the radio came out and the wireless, I mean, big. And sometimes when I'm really in a funk, you know, and I can't get out of my own head, I look outside and I look at the woods and I look at the grass and the ground, and I think somehow everything we have came from the basic elements of this rock called planet Earth. Everything, every bit of fabric, every bit of everything that we have, you know, plastic, how did that come from planet Earth? How did our technology come? How does this invisible world work that we are connected remotely to people all over the world? And it just came from the basic elements. My friends, that's a big deal. It's a big deal. And I think my request for all of us, I don't think it, I know it, and I'm going to do this as well, is the little things we have in our life as well as the big things, meaning the people and who they are and what they've done for us, whether they served or they haven't. Have that attitude of gratitude, that thank you. How lucky are you and how lucky am I to be living now in this year with everything that we have? Look at life through the eyes of a child, like it's a big deal. And look at the people in your life. They're a big deal. And some of them, like my mom, had hopes and dreams that were going to go one way and they went another way. And thankfully they did, because she met my dad and here we are. But cherish the people you're with. If you wish, have them tell stories about their past and who they are. And there's one great way of getting people happy about life, is have them tell their favorite stories. So I think that's it for me. Just leaving it with a thank you, and remember, it's all a big deal.
Thank you very much, Sandra. We're wearing poppies, and many of you around about the world will be wearing poppies as well. And many people know what the poppy is, and it's not a real flower, it's an artificial one. We have a large poppy wreath that we have at home, and it's worn to commemorate the military personnel who died in war. In war, my goodness, the opposite of peace, war. But to have peace, people look to defend what they believe in, cultures, values, and beliefs. Remembrance poppies are produced by veterans associations all over the world for the countries that each association is in. And donations are given to that association because of what Sandra's spoken about. There are people who have served their country that, for no fault of their own, find themselves in circumstances where they're no longer able to look after themselves. They feel forgotten. And the video Sandra refers to, I placed at the end of this video, of this service, because we need to remember not just those who are currently serving their country and humanity, but those who are still living and breathing, who did their part in being in service, as well, of course, those that we know who are now in the spirit world, who served their country and then went to the spirit world, or went to the spirit world whilst serving their country. Poppies were inspired by a poem in Flanders Fields, and they were first used at the end of the First World War, and they were used to commemorate the British, United States, and other countries around the world's military casualties of war. And we now wear them, but they were initially worn and took in donations to support widows and orphans, Liberty Bonds, charities, and the Red Cross. So by wearing a poppy, it isn't just about honouring those that have gone to the spirit world whilst defending those that they love. It's about raising funds for the families that are left behind. If those people go out and serve and are unable to take their last breath with their families, it supports them. So we have little poppies that we've had for years, but every year we always buy our poppy here and something else. If you were to go into my jewellery box, you will find poppies with every year on it that I choose to buy, not because I've forgotten, but because I believe in donating to a cause that is worthwhile. We choose to work for the spirit world to give those in the spirit world a voice. They no longer have a voice. The overwhelming message for those in the spirit world is live. Live because I want you to. Continue to live and have memories because I want you to. Continue to live a fulfilled life because that's what I want for you. Those that go out to support our families, our countries, and humanity in order to keep peace, their message is live. There's a saying, for your tomorrow, I gave my today. Never more can we represent those that went out to protect what they believed in, regardless of which side of the line they fought on, whether they fought for what is deemed as the enemy, or whether they fought for what is deemed for our side. they fought for what they believed in. No loss of life is ever a clever thing to happen. No loss of life in war can ever be justified. But people who do it because they believe in what they believe. They go out to stand up for what they believe in. Regardless of which side, we have to support those that have passed the spirit world. There are countries now speaking that are best friends that decades ago were at war. I hope that in decades to come, countries that are now at war can be around the table having a glass of wine, commemorating those that have passed the spirit world and celebrating life.
Thank you, Kerry. Sandra, I'm just going to take a minute just to reflect on what our lovely Sandra and Kerry have said, because it takes some real contemplation to really stand up and fight. We have a noble respect today to stand up for what our beliefs are, but to put yourself in front of guns, weapons, bullets, machine guns, all kinds of different things, it's today, can't put my mind towards it. But I know from history that people sacrificed their lives gladly, with joy, with camaraderie, with the brotherhood of man. When we look back in time and how people sacrificed themselves for what they believed in, to actually sit here to comprehend that bravery, those steps that they took, just doesn't compute. I know we would all stand up and fight, like I said, for the things we believe in, but to take that moment to go gladly with joy in heart, knowing that it's the right thing to do, to be noble, to be proud, to stand for our country is incredible. And my heart goes out to those people that still do that daily for us all, that give us the freedom that we have today, the freedom that I'm unfortunately sometimes, and I'll speak for myself, take for granted. The granted that I wake up and do as I please during the day, that I can travel where I do within this world, because people have made it safe. People have given us that freedom. Many, many years ago, I had the luck, if you will, to visit some of the scenes of the war, some of the locations, to stand where the Battle of the Somme took place, to see the craters still is just uncomprehendable. To stand in the middle, to see how deep that crater was, but then to walk through some of the trenches and still see artilleries, hand grenades, bullets still emerging from the soil, to drive through those fields where people fought and to see farmers ploughing those fields, but every now and again seeing piles of shells being stacked up. Still to this day, they are being found. It's a constant reminder of what people did for us, to be able to stand up and talk, just like I am now. It's that real love within their hearts for what they believed and what they saw was the future that's given us the strength to do what we do today, to stand up for our beliefs. But actually, when we look at the news today, those things are still happening in Ukraine. People are standing up for their freedoms by choice, that they feel it's right to do the things that they're doing to defend their own people, their mothers, their fathers, their sons, their daughters, their friends, and also people they have never met and probably won't meet, but they're standing up with conviction and fighting for a truth of freedom, truth of choice to live the way that they want to live. Ladies and gentlemen, we should never forget that they give us choice in so many different ways for what they stood up for what they believed, and what they, in some, when you read the stories, enjoyed the camaraderie in those fields together, that brotherhood, sung those songs that you heard that were played for you. You saw some of the pictures where they were stood being given their kits, being medically inspected. They didn't look frightened, they look excited. Yes, we know that history says that sometimes they didn't know what they were going into. But if we look at history, you can name every single country and all those people that have fallen for our freedom, fallen for our choices, that give us so much today still. To see the video of those young ladies singing in uniform, to see the veterans come out, and to watch one or two of them still march with honor. It's incredible to see that passion, that joy, but how proud they feel of themselves for doing what they've done. Ladies and gentlemen, we could pay them respect by being proud of who we are, the choices and freedoms we have, to be kind, to be courteous, to stand tall in truths, but most of all, for us all to enjoy what we have, which is life. So thank you for all those that sacrifice themselves, and thank you for those that protect us today in the places that we have seen, we have heard, and no doubt where there things are going on we don't know of. I remember 12 months ago, there's a contact I gave, and in the middle of that contact, I said to the mother, I said, I know that your son was thinking about you. And it's always stuck with me. Why did I say that in the middle of a contact when I was talking about the Secret Service, the FBI, the Secret Services? And I thought, so why? Then all of a sudden the penny dropped for me. In that moment where he needed help, he was thinking of his loved ones at home that supported him, cherished him, but gave him life. Ladies and gentlemen, let's cherish those that have gone before us and those that are still with us and have pride in what they do. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you, Carrie. We are the three amigos. Yes, we are. And with that, I completely believe that being a human being is the hardest part of our existence. It's tough between grief and everything that we need to deal with. One thing we are grateful to do, though, and when I said things are a big deal, it's a really big deal that the friends in the afterlife are alive and well, and that we have some beautiful people that are trained as mediums who can connect with our loved ones, that we have the power ourselves to slow down and feel the love and signs from our loved ones. So as we go into our medium demonstration, we are going to rejoice. We are going to say thank you, but we're going to rejoice. Our loved ones are alive, they're well, they're healthy, they're pain-free. In fact, they're probably having so much fun over there that they have to look at their watch and say, oh, it's time for the Sunday gathering. As Carrie, Phil, and I represent you being here on the earth plane, we will have a handful of individuals from the spirit world on behalf of all of our loved ones, letting us know that they are truly alive, they're part of our lives, and their love lives on. There will be a time, ladies and gentlemen, we will all close our eyes for that last time here on earth. And oh, even if we don't believe, how surprised we're going to be that our loved ones are right there to greet us, as well as our pets. Isn't that something? So if this is your first time with us on our Sunday gathering, I'll tell you how our medium demonstration goes. And if you've been with us before on our Sunday gatherings, you're going to look at this as a big deal, aren't you? Yes, you are. And you're going to be on the edge of your seat listening like you've never listened before. Carrie and Phil are both longtime mediums, and they are our tutors for our medium classes, psychic classes, and so much more. They're just great people. And the spirit world has this already prepared. Who's going to present themselves to Carrie and Phil and work on behalf of everyone? So when a spirit person joins Carrie or Phil, you're going to hear them start off with a couple of basic bits of information about them. Maybe if it's a man or a woman, maybe what they did for a living, maybe the relationship, who knows what they'll give. But we want you to be on the edge of your seat and really listen in. The spirit world could be a family member, could be a friend, it could be somebody that's a little bit outside of the box, but somebody that you know. We want you to listen in. If you can understand 100% of the information, of the initial bits of information that Carrie and Phil offer, we want you to press your raise hand button. Now, for our newbies and our oldies, go ahead and find that raise hand button on your device and press it and see what happens. Ooh, it changes from raise hand to lower hand. Ooh, little hand goes up. Ooh, see, this is a big deal. How this happens, I don't know. Whoever designed the magic of the internet and computer technology, we're thankful. All right, now it should say lower hand, and you can press that button again. Hands go down. Yes, they do. We can not see you, but we do see names, which is nice. But what happens is it may take a minute or two, and we should be left with one person with their hand remaining up. And that person, I'm going to ask to press your unmute button. Now, you can't see the unmute button yet. It's some Sandra magic I have to do but you'll see something that pops up that the host would like you to unmute yourself. If you work with one of our mediums today, your job is easy because you don't have to say much. We want our mediums to do the work. We want everyone to know they're connecting with loved ones in the spirit world. So all we need from you is a good hearty yes or no, or maybe I don't know. Each week, we know people get very excited and they want to volunteer the information about your loved ones, but we're going to ask you not to do that. And also, don't put things in the chat box about your loved ones. Really, let's just be all free to let the spirit world do what they do best. So like I said, just say yes, no, or I don't know. I feel it's important for each one of us to really listen to the evidence and the messages that come through, because there tend to be well over 100 people on our Sunday gatherings. And of course, not everybody can get a message, but these people from the spirit world represent all of our loved ones to say, we are all right here with you. And every message, there is something I know personally I can pull for my life. So even though the spirit person might be talking to the recipient, they're talking to all of us. We do like to play a piece of music beforehand, get in the zone, get fired up, get excited. And it's a fun song called Footloose, but with a video that you probably haven't seen before. I know for me, as I listen to the music, I picture my loved ones, both alive and no longer walking on this plane, packed in this room with me, all with a little jig and a little dance and a big smile. They work through our imagination, through our feelings, through love. So they are with you. So let's go to our song, shall we? Yes, we shall. A little Footloose. And if you want to dance, you can, because we can't see you. But where did it go? Because it's not on my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay. Anybody else's feet tapping under your table? I'm Footloose. How about you, Phil?
Well, I've got to be honest, I'm so glad people cannot see my feet because they were tapping away underneath the table and really wanting to get up and dance. And I'm not one for dancing, but I just love that soundtrack. So hello, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Philip Dykes. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you once more and work on behalf of the spirit world. But again, to take part in this Sunday service is a real privilege to talk about those people that have gone before us and sacrificed themselves. So it's extra special for myself and Kerry and Sandra. And I hope you're enjoying the theme, the music, and the whole feel of the atmosphere we're trying to create. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's my job to connect to those loved ones in the spirit world. And it's one thing that me and Kerry do not take for granted. We never know who's going to come, if they will come, and how they will communicate with us. And that's why it's always so exciting for ourselves to do this as well. Okay. So I'm just becoming aware of the spirit world. So I'm just trying to get my thoughts together of those impressions that I've just being given here. I want to talk about Dad in the spirit world. I also believe I want to talk about Arthur in the spirit world as well. And I feel I've got Dad. I feel Arthur is either grandfather, but I know with Dad, I know he seems to have a degenerate condition such as cancer, and I know that he passed at an early age. I don't believe that he reached the age of 60, so I know he went before then, but I also believe there was a period of time where he was incapacitated, where he wasn't able to work, and I feel he spent time doing jigsaws and other things at home. So I do want Father in the spirit world. I know he had cancer. I know he wouldn't have been able to work. And I know that he would have done jigsaws and little puzzles at home. But I also believe you should understand the name of Arthur, that should be grandfather in the spirit world as well.
Thank you so much, Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can understand this information, please press your raise hand button. We had some people that put their hands up really early before Phil finished, so I put your hands down. So take a look if you want to put your hand up again. If you can take all that information, please press your raise hand button. All right, Phil, we have Zella with her hand raised. Zella, if you could unmute yourself. Hello.
Hello. I have to tell you, my internet's not good here, so I might freeze.
That's absolutely fine, Zella. All I want from you, yeses and no's. That's all I want. I can hear myself talking back to myself. That's fine. So, Zella, you understand everything I've said so far? Hello, Zella.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you now.
You can hear. You understand everything I've said so far?
Yes, not so much the puzzles, but definitely Dad, cancer, Arthur.
Okay, that's fine. Then would you understand where he was incapacitated for some time? He wasn't able to work.
100%.
That's fine. But he would have either kept his mind busy. That's where I felt the puzzles were.
That would make sense to me, yes, but I don't recall him doing puzzles.
That's fine, because it's just my memory. I've got that little bit wrong there. But I also know that your father was a very strong gentleman in the mind.
Yes.
Okay, and I know even though he has this degenerate condition that takes his strength and independence away, I know that he kept strong.
I think her internet is lacking because I'm hearing a feedback when she is with us of your voice twice.
I know I've got it, and it was a little bit distracting. Okay, so let's just see if she's able to come back.
Sorry.
So
I can hear you.
You can hear me. Do you understand where your father kept himself strong and kept himself going and didn't like to show weakness?
100%.
That's good. But I also believe here he didn't want people feeling sorry for him.
No. Yes, that's correct.
And I just believe here he's still led by example, even when he was feeling really weak and tired.
100%, yes.
Because I know he's got fighting spirit, and I know he seemed to go out of his way to try and cheer other people up.
Yes.
Because there's just this impression where he wants to laugh and dance with me.
Yes.
And I also know your father could tease you as well, Zella.
Oh, yes.
Because it just feels I don't want to dwell on the past. I don't want to dwell on the illness. I want to be alive and let you know that I'm still here to tease you. And it's almost where he would do things deliberately to frustrate you a little bit.
Oh, I would think that could be possible, yes.
Okay, and it just feels here where he would play little jokes on you as well.
Jokes I'm not sure about.
Bear with me. Would you understand when he loved nothing more than having all the family around?
Oh, 100%.
And if I said when all the family were around, there were stories told about the past. Oh, have we lost her again?
We may have.
Oh, one of those. You know, technology is absolutely wonderful, and this is what.
There we go. I'm back.
There you go. You're back. Good. Would you
hear the
understand that? So you understand, Zella, that with your family, you love nothing more. Your father, he loved nothing more than having the family around, like I said.
Yes, 100%.
And he loved to talk about the old days.
He liked, I think the joke, yeah, I could go on about the joke thing. I know what it is, and yes.
That's fine, because I know it just feels I want to have a little bit of fun. I want to pull people's legs and I want to keep spirits high.
Yes.
But I also know he didn't want people's pity, because I know there was times where he was seen not at his prime.
100%.
And it's almost where if you offer him help, he wouldn't always accept it.
100%.
And I also know with your father that he liked to, even though he wouldn't accept help, he loved to help as many people as he could.
Oh, bang on, yes.
And I also know it's not about going out of his way. It's actually about words of advice.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I want to say he's almost like a cheerleader. He seems to inspire and really want to encourage people to look on the brighter side of life.
Yes.
And if I said he had a really good sense of humor as well,
Yes.
because it just feels with your father, he must have liked the really upbeat films and TV programs that were like comedies.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it's almost where I want to talk about like the old fashioned, would I be right in saying that, Zella, your father would like to watch the British UK comedy programs?
I don't know if we had them back then. So
You don't know?
I'm not.
Because I keep on seeing like Monty Python, I keep on
Oh,
seeing
yes,
Harry.
yeah. Sure.
That's film, that's
Yeah,
where I
we had
want to
that,
be.
yes.
Because
Yeah.
it just feels like I want to sing, I want to, and a variety, there should be memories with your father where he had a little bit of a tipple and he became even more boisterous.
Oh, yes.
Because it feels like I want to sing some of the songs of The Life of Brian and the Monty Python films and just get into a little bit of mischief, but it is purely platonic and harmless fun.
Yes, yes.
But I also know you still talk to your father in the spirit world.
Every day.
And I also know if it wasn't today, it must have been yesterday, where you've said in your mind and thinking of him, I wish you were still here.
I say that every single day.
Because I know there is so much love from him to you right now. It's palatable because I can just feel it and sense it. But I also know as well, your dad had a wonderful way of lighting you up and making you feel special, Zella.
Yes, he did.
And I know a simple smile from those cheeky, lifeful eyes just made you melt.
Yes.
And I want to leave his love with you, with the fact that he's around you. But it's all those memories of the family together, those joyful moments, those songs, those programs, and everything he did, because I feel your dad led by example, by staying positive. And I know it wasn't easy right at the end, because you must have been with your father just before he passed.
I was the night before, yes.
And I also know that you sat with him really talking about life and sharing things you wouldn't normally share.
A little bit, yes.
Because I know here, and would I be right in saying that you didn't just see him before he passed, but you did care for him before he passed as well?
Well, he was in the hospital.
Would you understand then, where you did that care, it was like sitting at his side, just stroking his face?
Yes.
Because I know that care was given, because I know there's a thank you, but most of all, it's the love I feel for you right now because of what you did for me. So I'm going to leave your father's love and say thank you for allowing me to do that, Zella.
Well, and thank you for your patience today, Phil. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. My patience is, like I say, I don't rush. There's no, it's just a pleasure to meet you and meet your father in the spirit world. And I know Arthur has just said, don't forget about me. So I know he's still there as well.
I had an Uncle Arthur and a grandfather Arthur, so that's very close.
Good, good, good.
Thank you.
Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Zella, and thank you,
Thank
Phil.
you. Thank you. Sandra, your smile has got even brighter.
Oh, I'm just in a happy mood. The sun is out.
Okay.
Oh, good.
I feel I've got Mother here with me. And as I become aware of Mother, I'm very much aware of those times we've been talking about on the gathering, the war. And I feel that Mother and I know there's a term for this, and it's just eluded my mind at the moment, ladies and gentlemen, because in fact, thank you. I feel that Mother was in the Land Army. I believe that she was working within a factory. I know that she was in some kind of thank you. I'm very aware that she worked in an ordnance factory. So I know she was making the bullets and different things here. So I know I have Mother. I know that she was in the ordnance, but I also know with Mother, she was not just working within that ordnance, but I feel she was in charge of a group of ladies, like a team leader or a supervisor in that position as well.
Thank you, Phil. All right, ladies and gentlemen, who understands this beautiful lady? Please press your raise hand button.
So hopefully nobody's gone out for a cup of tea, because it'd be most inappropriate.
I agree. No hands up just yet, Phil.
That's fine. So I can't change the evidence, ladies and gentlemen, but I can let go of the relationship. So if it's not Mother, I would have to be open to grandmother. But I do know that she would have worked within that Land Army. I know it seems to be in some kind of factory, so that's why I felt it was the audience. So if you understand this or even know of this, even if you don't know the full details, just put your hand up and let me know.
Okay, Latona has her hand up. Latona, if you could press your unmute button. Hello, Latona.
Hey, Sandra. Hey, Phil.
Hello,
Phil,
Latona. Yes.
Can I just go grab my mum, please? Because I think it may be my grandmother.
Bear with me. So bear with me, Latona. Am I pronouncing your name right, Latona?
Absolutely, yes.
That's fine. So Latona, you understand it to be your grandmother that was in the Land Army and worked in that munitions factory?
I know she worked in a ammunition factory, yes.
That's fine, because just let me work with her and let's just see where we go here. Would I be right in saying that she was a leader? There must be stories you were told that she was in charge of other women.
Oh, gosh, let me just go grab my mum, because she probably knows more.
Okay, that's fine.
What 1 moment?
No problem. Take your time.
Oh, reuniting the whole family here.
It's good,
on
isn't
a
it? We've
Sunday
had
gathering.
people say, well, the plumber's here and he understands it. And we've had all kinds over the past, haven't we, Sandra?
We have. It's a beautiful thing.
Hold up. Hey, Phil.
Hello, Latona's mum. How are you?
It's Jill. Hey,
Hello, Jill. How are you?
that's Phil. Say hello. Phil's saying hi to you. Ah, hello.
Hello, hello. So I believe, Jill, your mum worked in a munitions factory during the war.
Yes.
Okay. And would you understand where your mum was in charge of other ladies within that munitions factory?
Possibly.
Possibly. But she would have told you about the stories that went on in there.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. And if I said to you as well, she told you some of the funny stories, it's almost like she knew everybody's business and what was going on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I know it was very serious work, but your mother at times made it sound so fun.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Because I just get this impression from her. But if I also said that she was very serious, it was about doing her bit for the country.
Yes.
And would I also be right saying, Jill, that you have photographs or did have photographs, old black and white photographs of your mum with the other ladies that worked there?
Yes.
Because it feels like, in a way, they were their own unit and regiment, and the way that they all stuck together. Now, would I also be right saying to yourself, Jill, that you would remember your mum wearing a headscarf?
Yes.
Because it feels like it was part of the uniform that the hair had to be tied up.
Yes.
Yes, good. Because I also am aware. Now, would I also be right in saying your mum worked very hard?
Yes.
And have I also said that your mum also played very hard as well?
Yes.
Because I feel there was memories of nights going out dancing as well.
Yes.
And it feels like I'm saying this because I'm feeling it as I'm going to say it to you. Where your mum used to, and you're going to have to help me out here, Jill, that she used to either put the eyeliner up a line up the back of the leg. Would that make sense?
Yes.
Because it feels like I want to go out all dolled up. I want to look my best, because it's almost like a community spirit where all the ladies got together and went out dancing.
Yes.
But I also believe it was very platonic, because the ladies danced with each other,
Yes.
because the men were all at war. So I know this is how it went. And I know it was about community spirit. It was about team spirit, but it was about showing and leading the way of an example of doing the right things.
Yes.
Would I also be right during that time, and I've mentioned the munitions factory, but she also must have worked in the fields on a farm as well?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure? Then let me look at this for you, Jill. Then, Jill, where we used to live would have been quite rural at one time.
It's Charleston, yes.
Okay, I'm trusting you because I don't know where that place is, but it just feels we weren't too far away from the fields and forests.
Yes.
Yes, because I know your mum keeps on taking me there. So there must have been time for you and your mother to go out for a walk and to get out of the house.
Yes.
Because I know, and would I be right in saying, Jill, you still have memorabilia such as cards of your mother's as well?
Yes.
And I also believe you still got some of the old photographs when your mother was a child.
Yes.
And would I also be right in saying with your mother, she was very patriotic. She loved the royal family.
Yes.
And if I'm right, she would have saucers that were kept for best that were like Royal Dalton.
Yes.
And I also believe she would have kept the souvenir cups and things of the coronation, of the Queen Elizabeth's coronation.
Yes.
And I also believe in her living room, in her front room, she would have had a wonderful glass cabinet where all this was displayed.
Yes.
Thank you. Because I know your mum is very proud, but it's almost like I'm going down memory lane, not just with your mum, but for you as well, because your mum seems to be with you, bringing you a lot of upliftment and a lot of healing and courage just to keep your chin up at the moment.
Yes.
And would you understand with your mum, she was a very private lady as well?
Yes.
Because no doubt, whatever I ask her, she just ignores me and says, just do what I say, dear. So I know she's very strong. She could be opinionated. She was a leader of women. But most of all, I know she was a loving and caring mum, and she's still looking after you to this day. Would I be right in also saying that she used to read you stories of Winnie the Pooh?
Yes.
And your favourite little character used to be Piglet?
Yes.
Because I know here, and where we used to go walking, there must have been a little stream where we played Pooh sticks as well.
Yes.
I want to leave you with all these lovely memories, Jill, and I want to say thank you for allowing me to do this. And I know it might be a morbid thought, but I know you've had those thoughts. When it's your time, you want your mum to come and collect you.
Yes.
Because she says, I will be there. And with that, she blows you a kiss. And I've just heard her laughing, saying, not for a long time yet. I'm going to leave her love with you. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Latona. It's been an absolute pleasure to work on your behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a true pleasure to work this evening. And I know we don't get a lot of time to work, but I hope you've seen enough for myself to understand that the spirit world is very present with their memories, with their thoughts. And it is my pleasure to hand over to my Meon Don, which is my brown-haired lass, Miss Kerry MacLeod.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much, Phil. We can feel the love, and it's beautiful to share this with your families. Really, truly is. Thank you. Hello, beautiful Kerry.
Hello. It's lovely, isn't it? On a beautiful day like today, with such memories and in such honor of people, for hearts to be touched. That's what mediumship is all about, for memories to be brought forward and for hearts to be touched. So it is my pleasure to be able to work for the spirit world with you. I know as I was watching Phil work, I had this thought, and I was listening to Phil and having this thought about the things that are going on in the world today. And I have a great sense, and it's still forming in my mind. I need to check. Would we have somebody in our audience, Sandra, who would currently have somebody staying with them from the Ukraine?
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have someone staying with you currently from the Ukraine, if you would press your raise hand button. No hands up immediately, Carrie.
Okay, then if it's not that, I know there is, it's tentative because I know what I've got here and I know I've got a gentleman. Would somebody in our audience, Sandra, know of a gentleman who would have fought in Ukraine and now be in the spirit world? I'm not saying he passed in action, but I know I have a gentleman and he feels Ukrainian, and I know what I'm seeing. I don't want to give too much at the moment.
Thank you very much. All right, friends, who understands this information? A fellow who fought for Ukraine, who's now in the spirit world. And this might be one of those times where you have to think outside of the box, outside of your immediate family. And if you're getting that little nudge, this could be someone you know, press your raise hand button. Donna Marie has her hand raised. Carrie, let's bring her in. Hi, Donna.
Hi, I have a friend whose family father fought in the Ukraine, and he's Ukrainian, my friend.
Okay. And this is the modern day conflict in Ukraine.
Not the one recent.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
it's further back.
Well, do you know enough about him, Donna Marie?
I know enough about Volodya,
Okay,
who's
okay.
worried about.
Don't give me
Ukraine.
any more then, because this is recorded. If you can then let your friend have a copy of the recording,
Yes.
then you would know about your friend's father who fought in Ukraine, that he would have been a very strong personality, but very gentle.
I believe so.
Okay, then I have to say, Donna Marie, I get the sense from him, you're still in contact with your, that's a difficult sentence to say, your Ukrainian friend.
Yes, Volodya, yes.
Okay, then there must be things happening in your friend's life right now where you know she's reaching out for support and help.
I can pass this message on. I know where it's, yeah, I know the connection.
Do you know your friend is looking for that extra support and help at the moment?
Yes,
Okay,
definitely.
because I know this is where their father is wanting to say, I am there. If you let your friend know that this morning, this is a female friend, Donna Marie.
It's his partner's really concerned.
Okay, because I know whoever your friend is, they must have been looking at brushing their hair or washing this morning and have sent thoughts to their dad and be asking for signs, because I know this is dad's way of popping in and saying, I am here. There must have been your friend telling you about what they remembered about Ukraine and the place that they stayed.
Absolutely correct.
Because I know that dad gives me this sense, your friend's dad gives me this sense of the place where dad lived must have been quite rural.
It was.
Okay, and where the place where your friend's dad lived must have been to the east of the country.
I don't know about the partner, but I do know about the lodger.
Okay, so
don't know.
where they lived, where they lived must currently be experiencing war again.
On her side, she wants to go back there to fight. Yes.
Just yes or no, Donna Marie.
Sorry.
Where she came from must be currently experiencing conflict.
Yes.
Because I know there's this discussion. Please know that this is, I can only make it a short one because there's not that much known, but please know that your friend's father is seeing what is happening. I don't know what you said about going back, but I get the sense that Dad is acknowledging a returning to Ukraine.
Oh, okay. I'll let them listen to this. Yeah.
Okay. Please, thank you for putting up your hand, Donna Marie, on behalf of somebody else. You now become the messenger, and Sandra's Sunday gathering now becomes the vehicle that message is shared on.
I will get the message across. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Donna.
Okay, I now have another gentleman with me, and I feel that this gentleman would have been in the Navy. I want to say that there is something very special about this gentleman's role within the Navy, because I see, and this is where my lack of knowledge about the military really trips me up. Somebody in our audience must have a young man in the spirit world. I feel like it's brother or friend, but I know that he doesn't pass in conflict, but I know he did serve his country, and I feel like he would have been out at sea for a substantial amount of time. And I know there was a young family left behind when he passed.
Thank you. All right, friends, who can understand this information? No hands immediately up, Carrie. Our friend in the Navy here left.
I actually feel like it might have been a special, I know you get the SAS, but the SBS perhaps, because it's a special naval unit, a specialized naval unit. And I feel that there would have been special activities done by this gentleman. I actually feel like I'm reaching out for a comrade or somebody who you would have known, very similar age to you.
All right, friends, we need to think out of the box or go back in time in the brain. Spirit world knows exactly who's with us.
If it's not in the spirit world, Sandra, would somebody here have that understanding of themselves where they were in the special forces of the Navy?
No hands being raised.
All right, I can't really change this, so I'm going to take the relationship away, Sandra, and just leave it open. Would somebody here in our audience understand a gentleman who would have served in the naval forces? But I know there's a uniqueness to this gentleman's military service, so I'm dropping the relationship.
All right, Mary has her hand raised. Thank you, Mary. Hi, Mary.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Mary. I can take the Navy. I can take the unique service.
Okay, and you know this gentleman quite well?
Very well.
Okay, and he feels a similar age to you, Mary?
Correct.
Okay, then there must have been activities that this gentleman carried out. It wasn't your brother, Mary?
No.
Okay, then there must have been activities he carried out that he could not speak about.
Correct.
Okay, there's also an element of he would have told you that there would have been some near misses for him. Give me a no if it's not.
I can't remember.
Okay, then if that's not the case, he must have told you stories about how he stepped in for another when they
Oh, yes.
had, okay, because I know what he's showing me. I see his back, so I wasn't sure if it was him on the ground or him resuscitating and helping. But I know that he has this demeanor with him, that he had this two sides. He could be very vivacious and loud, but extremely serious and profoundly serious about what he did as a job.
Correct.
And he didn't actually talk that much about what he did.
No.
I need to say too that you must have met some of the people that he worked with,
Yes.
because I know there was almost a code this man spoke into his fellow folks.
Yes.
And there would be that, remember that down the, you know, the
Yeah.
Duda, and there would be this code that they would speak in.
Correct.
But you must have also had a special language with him that you spoke.
Occasionally, yes.
Because I know as he's speaking his language to his men folk, he also wants to acknowledge the language he had with you. And I know this language again, it feels like it would have almost been nods and winks. And
Yeah, thank you.
Mary, I feel an extreme emotion towards you from him. I feel an incredible love for you. I feel
Yeah.
that there and an incredible protectiveness. Mary, would you understand this is partner or husband?
Yes.
Okay. But he's just suddenly got all humorous, like he doesn't
Yes.
really want any tears. He's like, none of that.
No, that's right.
None of that wishy-washy stuff. But I do, underneath, you and him must have had the moments that he's very funny. You and him must have had very, very sensitive moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I also know he reminds me of times that my lovely gentleman, when he came home with flowers, and you must have said, what have you done?
Yes. Yes.
Who have you done it to? What's
Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Yes. Exactly.
But he completely adored you and loved you. And he would have said to you, I bought you flowers because I missed you.
Yes. Yes. It's true.
Mary, he must have also had a routine in the morning where I'm trying to figure out what he's showing me. He must have had a very unique way of making his tea or his coffee in the morning.
Yes. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And he must have sung or whistled at the same
Yep.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. He did both.
And he must have had a routine where he would have not wanted to boil the water more than once, because that's not how you make tea.
Exactly. Yes.
He's literally walking me through and turning around and giving me that, this is how it's done, because I know that he would have liked things to be done properly. And I know that the reason he's pulling forward with this beautiful story of his morning is that you have been reaching out. If I were to say to you, Mary, that you have been a little bit out of sorts.
Yeah.
Like your routine has just been removed.
Yes.
And in its place is will I do this? Will I do that? Will I do this? And you must have been like that after your husband passed as well.
Correct.
He is giggling. You also have been doing things of putting like the salt and pepper in the fridge and putting the butter in the cupboard and the.
Yeah. Yes, I did it the other day. Yes.
It's his way of saying, I see what you're doing. It's just like after I passed, you're at a loose end.
Yes.
Please know that he is with you, creating those moments where you have been going down memory lane and you have been looking to, what can I do next? What will I do? Please know that he is with you, planning whatever you've got in front of you, because you have had thoughts, you have said them to your husband, and I know he's interacting with you about, yes, dear, we'll get to that, but first you have to take a rest.
Lovely. Yes.
This is his way of saying, I'm resting with you, but you'll not get to rest for too long. The spirit world will be putting you to work. So please enjoy the rest whilst you've got it. The time will come where you need to be planning, but enjoy that rest just now. And please take the love, and he's just passed you, you lucky lady, 12 red roses.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so
And
much.
he is up to mischief in the spirit world. So
Of course he is.
you don't need to ask him what he's done. This is
No.
because he loves you. Please take his love, Mary, and thank you for allowing me to do that on behalf of your husband.
Thank you so much indeed.
You're very welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, Sandra, Phil, thank you very much.
Oh, thank you so much. Beautiful, beautiful context there. Beautiful people. Ladies and gentlemen, the hardest part, like I said earlier, is being here on earth. It's tough, and there is nothing worse than grief. There really isn't. If you need an extra support, I always offer a free copy of my book and my audio book. If you go to the WeDon'tDie.com website, go to the store, scroll down to the We Don't Die book, the audiobook, just use coupon code FREE. Chapter 10 is how to survive grief. Our loved ones are healthy, well, alive, a vibrant part of our life, witnessing what we're doing, as well as learning and growing on their side of life as well. And they want us to know that they are well and happy and safe, but it is hard. I want to share with you just a little miracle that I had today before the announcements. A little shout out to our new friend Cynthia, who's here on our Sunday gathering. We all have stuff to get rid of, and my mom and I had some of our catering supplies, and I put a little ad on the internet, and this lovely lady came to the house today, Cynthia, and she shared a few personal things, and my mind said, oh, I should tell her about my book. And of course, you know, I want to hold back because people could think I'm weird talking about the afterlife, but I took that chance and shared. Well, hasn't she just had a training as a medium? Hasn't she just, doesn't she know some of the people I know? Hasn't she written a book? And then she told me some of the most magnificent evidence of signs from loved ones and things that have happened. And I've got a new friend. And so just, if you need to meet some new friends, the spirit world will work with you, but you need to take some proactive action. So we all need to get rid of some things, whether you give them away or sell them for a few dollars. There's some really great people in your area. So thank you, Cynthia. I have a new friend in this area. So some announcements before we continue. First of all, I know our weekly classes are 2 weeks in now, but you can join anytime. You see Carrie and Phil work, and not only are they feeling the presence of the spirit world, but they actually get to feel their love for you. They get to feel the memories that this person has, like looking through a different set of eyes. If you have any interest in getting involved with our psychic classes, which lead to the medium classes, or we have a beautiful course on Tuesday called The Empowered Self, and there's so much more going on. You can join anytime. The replays of what you missed you get them immediately in your library. We are going into the holiday times, and it can be very tough with loved ones who have passed. And it's nice to have support of people that are alive, even working with people on Zoom, like our friendly tutors, Carrie, Phil, and also Scott Milligan. Carrie and Phil's website is mymediumship.com. And of course, WeDon'tDie.com has so many good things as well. There's new podcasts with me every Friday. One coming up, we're talking about snow globes. You know, those magical things that you shake and the snow is inside. Well, our guest talks about what if our loved ones are just on the outside of our snow globe, and our snow globe is our life. They can see our lives in a different perspective and a bigger picture. So it's nice. And then we also have one about mediums, the good, bad, and the ugly. So that's there for you as well. You can meet Carrie and Phil live if you want to travel to Canada or you're in that New York, Canada area. They'll be just about an hour west of Toronto, November 29th through December 4th. But of course, we have lots of great things online as well. I want to just say thank you to all of our friends who have donated to our Sunday gathering to make it possible. We thank you, definitely. And then one last thing is we have a special guest next week, a member of our community. His name is Peter Alessandria. He's the author of the book, Be Bigger Than You Think You Are. And I had seen him give a talk on forgiveness, one of the TEDx talks, and it really touched my heart. And I know we have some friends with us who have thought we need to talk a little bit about forgiveness on the Sunday gathering. So please join us next week. Again, wedon'tdie.com. You can click on the store page or the Sunday gathering page. The Sunday gathering page has all the past, or almost all the past replays. And if you ever need a little inspiration, that's where you're going to find it. So I'm going to pass it over to Carrie and Phil for some words for the week, and then we'll continue.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Veterans Day, Memorial Day, Remembrance Sunday. It is about remembering those that have served our country. But as I've chosen the video for the end of today, there are people walking about in uniforms that get acknowledgement, that get thanks. But there are people walking about that once wore a uniform, but now don't, that do not receive the thanks, that do not receive the acknowledgement, and maybe don't receive the thanks in a way when they see others receive theirs. So remember, anybody of any age in any country can be serving their country. So we should be saying thank you more often to each other. We should be acknowledging the difference we make in each other's lives more often. And we should be wondering just what it's like to walk in another's shoes. There are so many people walking in shoes without a uniform on that have done their bit for their country. So often wonder, how can I help? And then say, thank you. I'm going to ask Phil to close in prayer.
Thank you, Kerry, for those words for the week. Ladies and gentlemen, let's stay within this special place, within that emotion, within those thoughts that you've had during this service, and join together and make a difference within this world. Great eternal Father, we thank you for that blessing of life, for those that have gone before us, that has made us, given us the life that we have right now, that allow us to travel from place to place with freedom, with curiosity, but also that freedom to explore, to speak the languages that we do, but also how we can reach out now through modern technology and say hello to each other, those freedoms that we take for granted. We also thank those people that keep us safe this very day, wherever we are in the world, where we see them within uniform or not, doing their bit behind the scenes, keeping this world a better place. It is with that thought within our minds, that love within our hearts, that we ask to unite and that power to be taken where it is needed to do its work, to make this world a much better place. Amen.
Thank you so much, Phil, and thank you, Carrie, and thank you, friends. Thank you to the spirit world. We love you so much. Here's that video Carrie was telling you about. It's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. Remember, you never know the story behind people's eyes, behind their life. Show some love, show some compassion, and remember, it's all a big deal. It is. So we love you, and we will see you next Sunday, if not sooner. Bye.